Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to talk about character creation in Crowfall and what things you have to consider and think about when you're creating your character, because there's different races and different classes which are totally different, and races in this game actually matters, the same with classes also. But let's get directly to it. Let's start with the races. So first of all we have the Centaur, which has of course the male and the female version. As you can see, when you highlight the Centaur, you can see the different stats it has. It also has different spells, and feel free to pause the video and read the stats and also the spells for yourself. But as you can see, they have different spells and stats, but most importantly is of course the spells, the disciplines you're getting as a Centaur. For example, in this case, we can see behind we have in the bottom we have rear kick behind you, inflicting knockdown and causing 75 damage. So basically you have a kick behind you, which is the only one who has that. They also have dash 20 meters in your WASD direction, causing 46 damage to nearby enemies where you land. So as you can see, it's very unique. Like everything you see here is very unique. Because then we go to the Elkin, which only has one gender. Well, it's probably because it could both be a man or woman that thing. But Elkin also has different stats again. As you can see here, the Centaur has 17 in Constitution, where the Elkin has 28. So if you already know which stats you're probably gonna go for, it could help you to play the race that you're going for. But again, in the end, that's meta, max mix, max min. If you really want to go for the meta, or if you just want to have fun with the race you like and like the class you like. But as you can see here again, also the Elkin also has different spells. For example, down here you can see activate Shadow Slide, allowing you to detect enemies in stealth for 15 seconds. So basically, if you have an Elkin on your team, you can find people in stealth, which is pretty cool. I mean, and this is just some of the cool things that they have. Like, let's go to Fae, which also has a male and female version. And if we go into the Fae, we can see here, it has different stats, has a lot of dexterity. And then, for example, down here, it has double jump, allow you to jump again while near apex of your first jump, so double jump. It has the glide, so you can reduce falling speed. We have dodge, fairy fire, stuff. I mean, feel free to pause the video and read everything you see here. But if I had to go through every single spell on this list, this video would take forever. Then we have the Half Giant, which also has a male-female version. And again, here you get the stats and also the spells, as you can see that below. We have the Half Elf, which has male and female. And again, here you get the stats and the spells, and you are very welcome to read. And then we have the Gunitian / Hamsters, which only has one gender. And again, that's probably because this could either be a man or female. And then we have the Gunitian here, and you can see here this is the stats and different stuff they have. Let's go down to Minotaurs, which only has also one gender. And Minotaurs also have these spells and these stats, as you can pause and read. Then we have Human, which has female and male. And this is the stats and spells they have. Then we have the High Elf, male, female again. And again, they also have these different stats and spells. And then we have the Nefari, male, female. And they have these stats and spells. Then we have the Stoneborn, which is only one gender. And they have these stats and spells. And then we're going to Wood Elf, which is having a male, female again. And they have these stats and spells. And I hope you know why I'm skipping through them, because I mean, you already know which races you're probably interested in, and then you can pause the video and look at those spells. Because for example here, Wood Elves have something very interesting. They have camouflage, so hide you from the sight as long as you're standing still and not in combat. It will take 3 seconds to become hidden after you stop moving. So basically in open world terrain, you can basically go stand still and then no one can see you after 3 seconds. I mean, that is pretty cool if you ask me. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. But yeah, they all are very unique, have different spells, different stats. So super cool, and of course unique design. Kinda. I mean, a Half Elf and the Half Elf and the High Elf and Wood Elf has probably the same, you can say, skin. Nefari, Human, and Half Elf is almost also the same. So you know there are some that goes again, but of course they have different like customization options, like different hairstyles and stuff like that. So they are not 100% the same. But that is the races. Let's go to the classes. So if we take a moment to look at the classes, we have the Champion, Assassin, Confessor, Cleric, Duelist, Druid, Knight, Frostweaver, Ranger, Myrmidon, Templar. Each of them has 3 different talent specs. Almost like other MMOs, you have these talent specs, these specs you have to choose between. Do you want to be like a tank, healer, damage, crowd control, defense, whatever you want. So if I click on the Centaur, I can become a Champion. And then if we look at the Champion, this is the Champion. It has different powers, as you can see here. Neckbreaker, Massive Cleave, Leap. And then we can see it has a text what the Champion is, what primary stats they use, what resource they use. But below, you see potential promotions. These are the 3 specs that they actually can be. It's kind of annoying they don't show like what role it is, because when you are inside the character and you open up your talents, it actually tells you this is tank, this is DPS, this is control, stuff like that. But as you can see here, for example, it says Barbarian deal more damage as they control the battlefield, or Pit Fighter are well-rounded pugilist that excels at both dealing and mitigating damage. But for example, if we take the Cleric and go into that character, we can see here, for example, the first potential promotion it has is Radicals, sacrifices much of their healing potential to deal heavy damage to enemies from afar with potent throwing hammers. So basically you're removing healing spells and it has more damage. The middle one is excel at blinding, knocking down and slowing down opponents, and then the last one possesses the pinnacle of healing and defense capabilities and are a key member of any team. So as you can see, okay, that's probably the first one is DPS, then we have a control, and then the last one is healing. But again, when you're inside with the character and you go into the talent tree, it actually tells you what role that they have. But we have Champion here, which can be played on different races. You can go to the website and they will show you like a list. This race can be played, it can play these classes, and this class can be played by these races. Basically, so for example, if you want to play Assassin, you have to go to Fae, where you have the Assassin. You can also play Assassin as a half-elf, and you know, different classes like the Fairy could also become it. I don't know, high elf could also. So Champion is, as you can say, probably it's like a guy with a very big two-handed weapon who likes to smash things with very big weapons. Then we have the Assassin, which is, you know, the typical roguelike with going into stealth, shadow stepping, backstabbing, all that. Then we have the Confessor, which is basically a fire mage, but has some very interesting free specs. Basically, you have like a tank spec, where you become melee, like a tank fire mage. I mean, doesn't it sound cool? You can become a healer with him, so you can basically be a fire mage who heals. Or of course, the classic fire mage with damaging. Then if we go to half giant, we become a cleric. Cleric has, again, as we saw before, they have a damage spec, control spec, and healing spec, and is the very typical healer for a group. Like this healing spec for cleric is pretty strong. So you're probably gonna see many groups in the game who has a cleric healer. We have the duelist, which is, you know, it says the word. You have some daggers, you have some guns, swords, or whatever weapon it's using. Wood elf can become a druid. You can also become a druid as a half elf, and I think actually that's those two, if I remember right. Maybe one more. But yeah, druids, of course, they have different free specs also. Stormcaller, which is damage. Archdruid is a balance between life and death. And Earthkeeper, which is 100% healing. Then we have Frostweaver, which is a mage who can basically cast frost damage, and also again has 3 different specs for that. Then we have the Knight, which is the typical guy with the sword and shield, and has a very tanky build and some controlling and some damaging. Then we have the Ranger, which also has some different specs. The cool Ranger is that they have melee specs, ranged specs, and I guess something in between. And then we have the Myrmidon, which is a big guy. Well, it doesn't have to be a big guy, but it is someone who uses 2 axes, like a very brutal one. 2 axes dual wielding, a lot of damage. Very impressive. And then my fairy one, which I play as human, is the Templar. The Templar is basically a paladin with a two-handed sword, where you can either be a healer paladin. You can either, it's called Templar. You can be a healer paladin. Well, it's actually called paladin, the healing spec. But basically, you can be a healer Templar. You can be one that is focusing a lot on knocking down, and then one which is like a bladesman, which deals a lot of damage. So it's pretty cool. I mean, we have the typical warrior, the assassin, the fire mage, the typical healing guy, but can also be damage, duelist, druid knight, the frost mage, the dual wielding axe guy, the hunter, and the paladin templar. All very interesting classes. And of course, when you choose whichever class you want to race you want to be, like if we want to say we want to play Minotaur and we want to play a champion next, then of course you get all these customization on how you want to look, and boom boom boom. So I want to look like this, skin tone, which skin we want, what color should my tattoos look like, and what should my horn color. I know it says hair color, but that's because it's for this one. So for example, it's a bit bigger here. But yeah, so I could potentially look like this. I could also be like a red one or gray one like this. Confirm. And as you can see now I have my character down here together with all my other characters. So I have a knight, I have a druid over here, a templar, a confessor, and then we have now a champion here. And of course you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I have 6 character slots. I'm not actually sure what a new account have. And then of course I can buy more if I ever needed to. So I cannot have all classes at the moment, but you know, potentially I could if I unlock them with crowns. So this is the character creation I really want to show you all. It's a very interesting character process because you have all these different races and classes which has different spells and different things. And you can already see this video has already taken 12 minutes just to tell you like the very basics of character creation. But for a long video, I would probably have gone through all the spells and talking about them on each race. And that can be a very long video, so we might gonna do that for another day. But for now, I just want to show you the basics, the short, and what you have to remember and think about. So thanks for watching everyone, it was a pleasure making this video. I am pretty hyped about Crowfall. I'm playing it like daily right now. And I know this game, some people don't like it for some reason. And maybe some from my follower base on YouTube doesn't like it. But again, other games are coming also later this year. Other MMOs, of course, I will also play them. But it's just a matter, you know, right now, this is what I think is fun. So that's what I'm playing. Exactly. So thanks for watching, everyone. It was a pleasure making this video. And leave down a comment. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see from the Crowfall world. Thanks for watching. Have a nice evening. Bye.